This is a story about a bridge of faith, hope, and love. For nearly 5 decades, the Pittsburgh Catholic Diocese has maintained this bridge to Chimbote, connecting compassionate people here with families in Peru, people who need our help so desperately. Hundreds of thousands of profoundly poor people, struggling in desert slums, battling malnutrition, disease, and little economic hope, virtually forgotten, rejected by their own government. For Gretchen Roos and her family, it's all about following the path of Jesus.
First time I went was in the spring of 2006. I went with my sister-in-law and 2 very good friends. It's so difficult to describe. I mean, I've heard about the mission in Peru for my entire life. And when you get there, you get off the bus and you get into a taxi, and it's very noisy and busy, and then you get to the mission, and I've heard many people talk about how it's an oasis, and it is in every sense of the word. You move through a fence, a gate to get in, and it's grass and trees, and it's finished buildings, and you walk in and you're just overwhelmed. Typically what we have done, and I've gone twice now, is tour the facility, and you get to see the clinic, you get to see the pharmacy, maternidad where the women give birth, the orphanage, and that's probably the first part of your visit, and then you'll go on home visits while you're there, and that's absolutely the most powerful part of the visit. You're out there in the neighborhoods where the poor truly live, and you're seeing firsthand, and not just seeing. I mean, it's almost, it really captures all of your senses. It's in the desert, so it's dusty and dry, and you smell the fish smell from the fish smelting plant that's nearby, and you're smelling the garbage and the sewage, and it's really overwhelming. And you're walking through with Sister Maggie and Sister Lillian and 2 of the nurses that typically go out and do the home visits because they're visiting the sick. And when you're with Sister Maggie and Sister Lillian, you feel like you're with the Pied Pipers, because the kids particularly come running. They know them from miles away. They come running, they see them in their white dresses, and they follow them because they know that these women are there, to bring services to them that nobody else will bring to them. They actually come into their community to reach them in this manner. So it's just incredible. The mission and the maternidad has such a reputation. I know of people who come from an hour and a half to 2 hours away because this is where they want to give birth. First of all, because it's a place that they know they won't be turned away, whether they have money or not. And they know that they're getting, the best medical care in the area. When I think about walking into the waiting room, you're right, it's very crowded, and the first time we went in there, we stuck out like a sore thumb. Here we are, obviously very American looking, the only Americans maybe that some of these folks had ever seen. And there's so many of them in there because it's so important to them to make sure that they get medical care that day, that they'll come at whatever hour and wait very patiently to see the doctor, to see the nurse. And I remember we took a lot of pictures when we were down there, obviously, so that we could bring them back and share them with the people of Pittsburgh. And I remember feeling very uncomfortable sort of taking a picture of the people in the waiting room, because it's a very closed environment, and really when you go to get medical care, that's a fairly private experience. And I remember Sister Maggie saying, "Oh, no, please, they understand why you're here, and they understand that the people of Pittsburgh are the people that sustain what we do here. And it's very important for them to know that they can be a part of that and share their story and share their life with everyone back in Pittsburgh. So please, they want to have their picture taken, and they did. They could not have been more gracious and more willing to let us, really capture their experience and bring that back to Pittsburgh. The Chimbote mission in Pittsburgh and what the elementary school children do and what the parish of Grand Rapids do, I know where Sister Maggie and Sister Lillian are from, it sustains everything that they have down there, financially, spiritually, the financial contributions, the prayers. When we look at what we have, and I was fortunate to be able to take my then 14-year-old daughter down there to be able to say, not everybody lives like we do in Pittsburgh. We are extraordinarily blessed. And when you are down there and you see, you know, the things that we take for granted, the food, the shelter, clean water, you know, restroom facilities, they have none of that. Everything that we have that we take for granted, we are so blessed to have. These are the poorest of the poor. They have so little, and everything that we do in Pittsburgh to support the mission, to support Uncle Jules and the two sisters and the staff down there, that's it. We are their lifeblood in every sense of the word. They don't exist without the support of people in Pittsburgh.
We did 4 different fundraisers. We did the lollipop sales, which we have lollipops for 50 cents on Valentine's Day, like the week of it. And people can buy as many as they want, and then we raise the money for Chimbote for that.
We decided to raise money for Chimbote because we saw how bad their lives were. So we decided to make their lives, to try to help their lives be better.
Well, with the $1,500 we raised with the pennies, that was able to make 200 houses for them. And it was amazing to know that that little money can help them that much.
Well, we know that's really terrible down there, and we would like to raise money for them.
I think as well as me and every other person at St. Elizabeth, it made us almost realize how thankful we are for what we have and really upset about everything that they're going through.
Like how poor a lot of the people were, and that they still, even though they were poor, they still took time to build churches and
practice their faith.
Yeah, practice their faith.
And you have to look at their lifestyle and look at ours, how different it is, and then you realize they're still like people. It's just amazing how
Even though how poor they are, they still take their time to worship God like we do.
You have not forgotten the people in Chimbote. The bridge connecting hearts 4,000 miles away lets them know that they are not alone in their struggle. The love poured out through our faith lets them know that hope is still alive, that we are all members of God's family. And through your efforts, spearheaded by so many people, Pittsburgh priests, Mercy Sisters, Vincentian and Dominican Sisters, parishes, schools, CCD programs, businesses, individuals and families, everyone here at tonight's dinner. You have helped hundreds of thousands of hurting people see Christ's love in action.
Child of wonder, child of grace, love comes dancing round your face. Child of water, child of earth, gentle flower come to birth. You shall be God's joyous singer, you shall be life's joyous song. Child of dreams and our tomorrows, come to share our joys and sorrows.